Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Diamond Diaries. We're going to be getting to the nitty gritty here today. Last episode was very surface level and more of an introduction to what this channel is going to be. But today, we got the virtual baseball going, and it's time to talk about some real life stuff. A question I think a lot of people ask themselves is why? Why am I here? What is our purpose? And I'm sitting here in a pitch black bedroom at 4:30 a.m., realizing that I'm pretty sure I know what mine is, at least as of right now. But it was not always this way. I was younger, in college, high school, stressing out about different things. I remember being in college, I was stressed about my current grades because I didn't start off too great in college. And I kind of sat there and wondered, why am I putting myself through this? What is the end goal and why am I here? And I'm not gonna lie, many of those nights were terrible because I didn't know what that was. I genuinely did it. When you're stressed and you don't really know where you're at, especially when you were younger, like I was then, I think it's easy to just worry too much or kind of wonder what's going on and not really have the answers. And I'm not gonna lie, when you realize that you don't know what that purpose is, I think it's tough to be motivated. I was a really meh student. I think a lot of it was because of that. I was very conflicted mentally on why I was here or what I was meant to do. And we basically decide what we want to try to do for the rest of our lives as 17, 18-year-olds. And I don't think that's something that we should be able to do at that age. Because now I have a over $100,000 degree that I'm not even using. Just in general, when you're younger, it's very difficult to decide what that thing is going to be. I know of many friends who left off for school, maybe came back home because they didn't like being across the country. People like me who change degrees, people who don't even use their degrees. But I feel like this matters a lot to people around that age, especially because we're trying to find that purpose. And I was in that same boat 4 or 5 years ago before I got into making content full time. And it was a big reason why I had very little motivation to do things each day. I act a little lazy, get a little complacent, stay in bed a little too longer that day because I'm overthinking certain things. But I got to remember that why and that purpose. I feel like the personal experiences we have, maybe with friends, school, whatever it is, you start to put pieces together of what your purpose is. And I think it all started for me back when I was in elementary school. You're just a little kid, not thinking about anything. You're probably just thinking about what you're going to do at recess that day. According to other people, I was a very nice kid. I remember going to recess each day. The other guys would ask me, hey, Justin, yes, that's my first name, can you pick our soccer teams? And a couple guys wanted to be captain, but they would always pick their friends, and everyone didn't like that. So they decided, hey, you're going to pick our teams because you're the most fair. And I didn't think about it much then. I was like, oh, cool. And I would do it. And we would be a bunch of little doofuses at recess, just have fun with soccer. And one day in that year of elementary school, my teacher had this little vote. I think it was after some bullying incident that happened. And he decided to ask the class, hey, who do you think is the most nice person in the class? Looking back at it, it's a little weird. Have these elementary school kids be like, yeah, we're going to pick the nicest kid. Most people in the class picked me. And I was someone who was definitely a little shy. People thought I was a nice dude. And I think it just came down to just not being mean. I know that sounds stupid, but back then I was just respectful to everyone else. And once I got to high school, like I mentioned before, I started creating internet videos. But I always just had that joy for making the content. I think I enjoyed the process. But once I actually started to get some sort of interactions in college and people watched my videos, I started to see what type of impact those videos could have. I mean, even when I was doing tips to get better at the game, it made me very happy seeing a comment of someone saying they managed to get better at MLB The Show and make World Series or whatever it was because of the tips that I offered. Just people enjoying the videos and going out of their way to comment. It means a lot. And it's something that I've come to value. I also haven't realized your content really can provide an impact to people. Whether you're someone who streams and builds a community of people who make it their daily routine to hang out with you, or someone who makes videos basically each day, you become a part of people's lives. And I think at this current point, I realize that Think about when I was younger. Maybe I had some stir up with my friends because they were very dramatic back then. And I would just plop open a Vanoss Gaming YouTube video or something of that sort and find some sort of happiness after a rough day. Being someone who is on the other end of it now, it's easy to just look at analytics and numbers. That's what we're always judging things by because obviously we want to make a living doing stuff like this. And I sit here and see 30,000 views on a video. And I don't really think about how that was 30,000 individual people sitting down and watching that video. I've now had 2 videos reach 300,000 views. And over the last month, there have been 2 million views on the channel. And I sit here and I don't really think I can absorb it properly. But when I see the comments, I kind of start to get an idea of what that is and how that is meaningful to people. And in general, as someone who's been making content for a few years now, I talk to a pretty tight circle of creators pretty closely all the time. And I've spent a lot of these days rambling about things I've learned about YouTube, chatting with these dudes when they have problems. And it's weird because these things have almost become second nature to me. I don't even think about them, but it's just what I do. When you put all these different puzzle pieces together, I kind of realize that I think my purpose is to just be there for other people. Whatever avenue that is. Whether it was being that nice kid in elementary school there to pick soccer teams for people, or create MLB The Show videos that people apparently find entertaining, or maybe it was these long-winded rants or troubleshooting sessions with other content creators that I talk to. All of these things just make me realize that my purpose is bigger than myself. And even though it's tough to absorb or realize, I think my purpose is just providing whatever this kindness or happiness is. It's not really specific. Right now feels like it's pretty close to that. But this is just me thinking I found it 24 years into my life. It might change 5, 10 years down the road. I don't even know. I don't even know if I want to think about that long. Realizing that you don't know what that is, it doesn't mean that you have no purpose. Because I was someone that thought this. And it took months and years to get to a point where I think I found it. And if you're someone who doesn't know that, I think you'll find it soon. Just keep your head down. Keep going through those tough times. Because it'll always get better one of those days. And as someone who's gone through it, I promise you it'll get better. But that's going to wrap us up here. You have a great rest of your day. And I hope to see you again here soon.